some of the basic level of the stuff again. This is going to be help us like what are the different packages and libraries which are going to be used in general, and how does the math functions and some other related functions which are going to be help us to understand. So let's go to the flow. For the math, we have a math library which are going to be used. We have just to import that math library, and we have to use whatever the operations which we are going to be help us, like a ceil and a floor and factorial of a number, which is going to be help us. Like ceil is obviously it's going to be give as the smallest integer that might be greater than the value. So here we are taking the value around 20.2222 like that, right? So if we don't want to these kind of fractional functions or some kind of decimal point after the whatever the integers we have, so we have to ignore by using the ceil. So it directly gives the whatever the greater value of these 20. So it will just give the 21 value. Similar way we can also do with the floor. I hope you know these floor and ceil concepts. Like we also uh, terminology to mention as a ceil and floor in some kind of the mathematical functions, right? So it's also do the same, but it won't give the greater than value. It gives the less than the value, or that must be equal to whatever the value you are giving. So the basic sense of the factorial also, I think you may know factorial, right? So it's going to be give us some multiplications of whatever the numbers we have. And what is a GCD number? Just simply you have to write the method GCD. It will give the result, whatever the GCD value you want to compute by using these values. So these are the simple operations to know about in math, and some of the operations involved with random also. Random is also very important library, I can say, because some of the randomness value which we are going to be performed on the cleaning plot, data cleaning plot, and also some of the plotting techniques to use. So this is obviously going to be help us. So how does this going to be works, Mitch? So random choice dot choice, whatever you want to pick up by using these values. So it's going to be, what is this? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So the random dot choice, whatever the values you are going to give, it will give pick up whatever the values by defaultly. Okay. So it will pick at the time of apple. So when you run again, it might not be pick apple. It may pick banana or pear. So it will be their choice to randomly select whatever the value the system going to be allocated. Okay. So every time you may not be get the apple. If suppose here you have the hundreds of the values instead of the three values, you have hundreds of the values. It might be picked from one of the, so we don't know which value it's going to pick up. That's why it is called random libraries. Similar way, you can also pick selected 10 different numbers within some range. So we don't know these values is picking at the time, but after some time of a timestamp, it may not be picked this kind of values. So that's why the most popular the randomness, because some of the cleaning part which we're going to be used to perform randomly selected or randomly splitting of the data. So at the time we use random library most of the time, and selecting the first floater of the number. So similar kind of the stuff which were also performed for the number wise and the string operators. Yeah, basically uniform also we're going to select some random floating number by using some range. So this is also the helpful factor. So random int, it's going to be give as some kind of integer value, whatever the range you want to give, you can give that range. I think we have already seen this date time. Yesterday we discussed about the date time format and what exactly the meaning of that. We have to extract whatever like a day and month and the year and day of the week, weekend of the day, like that we have to extract it. And we also sum up the directive to know about what exactly the meaning about. So which we are going to be perform like a capital A and lower case of the A. So this is going to be give us some kind of meaning around it. You can also check some of the documentations regarding the date time. You will also get to understand about this. This is the documentation for that date time feature. So if you implement by using some of these directives, so I'm just taking the today's date dot today. It will going to give the system date, whatever the system date we are specified with it. So by using that, it's going to give as an exact date, but it is not today's date. If you run this one, it will going to give as a today's date. Just wait, it is going to allocate it. Yeah, see, this is going to give as a today's date. So whenever you encounter some of the observations to check about that, so you want to format of different, like the month first and second thing is the day and the third thing is the year. So if you want to be specific format, you can directly use strip time. Strip time is going to be help us to understand how exactly the format is you want to get in terms of day and month, or like some of the, like you want to get from this like a string. Okay, so you want like a January, February, or March, like that also it will give. These are the directives you have to use whenever you want. Suppose if you wanted to give as a string wise, you have to give direct this is the b is a directive to that. So if you want to give the capital B, gives as a month as a locate the full name. With the full name, it directly give it. Similar way, you can also mention like a capital Y and capital H for hour. That will going to be help us. It's all about your requirement or whatever the data you have. So based on that, you can do whatever the different formats you want to get it. So these are the just simple operations to work on it. If